Shalom. Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahakodash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace to the elect, the 144,000 men, the servants, the prophets of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and to the rest of the elect, the one third men, women, and children, you sincere believers, to you I say Shalom. And now, real quick, here in Matthew chapter 24 and 6, I made mention of three woes in my previous video. Slip of the tongue. I think I said that, three woes have passed, and actually that's incorrect. Two woes have passed. Woes meaning wars, world wars. In the 1900s, you had, two different wars 20 years apart, which they both, each overlap into each other. Edomites against Edomites, heathen against heathen, Soviet Union, United States, Britain, right? And Japan, so on and so forth. Heathens warring against one another, all right? And these things were prophesied in the scriptures to come to pass, you know, first woe and the second woe, okay? And up until today, we're still hearing, as it says here in verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. There's a great buildup. We're hearing of a lot of wars and rumors of wars. There's tariff wars, right? Between Russia and the United States, on energy trading. Okay, I believe it's 100% tariff on that, and you got you know trade blocks when it comes to oil. With the Strait of Hormuz, right? Because they control roughly 20% of the oil that is distributed across the world. Now, this is all about power, you know, and nuclear control as well. This is what it all goes into because nuclear power, you know, gives you a big chance at world dominance, being that number one world superpower. And this is what all of these, superhouse countries aim to do. The Chinas, the Russias, and Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, they are the main powerhouse now. But their power has been dwindling. They're getting weaker and weaker, and all the nations know this now because they have such a strong military and a nuclear arsenal. They're still very proud, and that's what keeps them in the position that they're currently in. However, they're not the only superpower with, ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay? Russia is another powerhouse, and so is China. All right? But we have been hearing about these wars and rumors of wars, and it says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. That is correct. You had this lady that came up to camp and she said that she doesn't believe there's going to be a World War III because she's been hearing it for time and time again and nothing is happening. And first and foremost, the Lord is not dealing, directly with women. So you have to understand that they're not going to have as much patience at times when it comes to the prophecies, you know, because they don't understand that one day Yahweh Shemel Shai is 1,000 years unto us. The Heavenly Father operates outside of time. So understanding that he can put you in whatever, illusion or delusional state you might fall into when it comes to time, stressing out and worrying about particular situations, just giving different examples now in life. You may be stressing about shit that will pass by in a year, and a year is no time, really and truly. A couple of months, that's nothing, right? But when you tap into Yahweh Shem Shai, you see that. You start occupying yourself more in the spiritual things of the prophecies, all right, in the wise instructions in the scriptures as well, exercising and practicing, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's within the scriptures, then you start to see that time is actually moving faster. The Heavenly Father speeds it up and He slows it down. Now, we're very close to World War III, and it's very important to understand the prophecies. That's the thing. She doesn't understand the prophecies. She doesn't understand that it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." I did the video in Colombia. Okay, that was a very powerful earthquake, and it's been consistent, right? All of these things must come to pass. And it says, all of these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So, the beginning of what's to come, you know, ushering in that day of the Lord, okay, leading into Jacob's trouble, which comes before the day of the Lord, leading into the time of the hour of temptation, right? Which is talking about the RFID, micro implant, and these different BCIs. All right, you will be faced with a decision. You'd be given a choice, okay, which the Heavenly Father already made that choice for you. But it's either you take the mark or you fall off the grid. All right, and lean on Yahweh Shem Shai. Trust in Yahweh Shem Shai to provide water, food, and shelter for you in the times to come, and the times that have never been on the planet Earth ever. This is going to be the worst time ever since mankind has ever existed. Okay, there's nothing that has ever compared to what is going to come. Now, let me just jump into Revelations real quick. This is the point I wanted to make. I believe it's Revelation 9. This is Revelation chapter 9. In verse 12, it says, "And one woe is past, that was World War One in the 1900s, early 1900s. And it says, Behold, there come two woes more hereafter," right? So World War One already passed, and World War Two has already passed, right? Now the third World War is the final one, and I think we can find that in Let me do it like this, in chapter 11, right? And this is what a lot of people are not aware of. They think it's not going to happen, but if you're paying attention to the news, you'll see the buildup. It's very clear, right? I believe it's 11. Spare me here. Yeah, Lord willing, this one will be quick, and done with this video. And this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. It says, "The second was past, and behold, the third will cometh quickly." So it's coming quickly, okay? It is also going to catch people like a thief in the night, as Yahushua is going to catch all of you unbelievers and you heathen. Okay, you're going to be shocked. You're going to die of heart failure, you know, because the third world war is coming, man. Reality as you know it is quickly vanishing. Everything that you wicked ass, demonic, two-third ass Israelite Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that do not know who Yahweh Shem Shai is, they do not know that you're an Israelite, or if you know, you scoff at it, you don't care, and you're living your wicked life, you know, acting like your daddy who is the devil, Esau, Edom, because you have taken after Esau, right? Woe is coming to you. Fire and brimstone, the slain of the Lord will be many. Many Israelites will die. More Israelites will die than those that will be saved. Okay? And you heathen are going to perish. And the ones that are left, you're going to be brought into captivity. You're going to be put in chains. Okay? And the saints shall take the kingdom. And our righteousness will be spread throughout the four corners of the earth. Our righteousness will cleanse the earth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. The elect, the righteousness of the elect of Israel will cleanse the earth and the people will rejoice. But there has to be a great purging. Fire has to purge all that is wicked, okay? Because fire is a purifying agent, okay? Blood has to be shed. That's the only way the earth can be cleansed, by shedding the blood of those that shed the blood of the innocent or the blood of the saints, you know? Because the saints are innocent in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Shai. All right, so the second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. So World War III is on the way, but we know this is not going to come to pass until the mark of the beast is made mandatory. Okay, until the world is fully under a digital system. Okay, and requirements to function in that digital system is to be implanted so that you can buy and sell, so that you can travel, so that you can pay your rent, so that you can buy gas, so that you can go to the grocery store. All right, so that you can withdraw money from the bank, which you won't need to withdraw money from the bank. So let me say it like this, so that you can send money from wallet to wallet, from individual to individual, from family member to family member. It's going to be tied to your RFID number or your BCI number. Okay? Your implantable number. These devices will have numbers that will be linked to the system, and it will be all connected. So now if you're not a part of that system, then you're going to starve to death. All right? And you're going to starve. I mean, you're going to die of thirst. And I'm just, the way I'm saying it, I'm making it seem simple, you know? You're going to die in all manners of different ways. You probably know the movie Final Destination. That movie's not even creative enough, you know, and that showed many different ways of how people died. You can just think about that movie, but times that by 100,000 times more. Okay, because all manner of different type of deaths are gonna happen in that day, in those days, because it's not one day, it's gonna be for a period of time. Okay, the day of the Lord is not one day. Okay, or the day of doom is not for one day. Jacob's trouble is not for one day. You know, it's something that gets worse and worse. But the elect will be delivered out of that, will be preserved and protected. Okay, but all of that leads up to the third woe. These nations warring against each other, you know, that final battle against each other and to destroy Babylon the Great. That is the whole purpose. But at the end of that, they're going to turn to the heavens and they're going to fight against Yahushai, because the Lord is going to put the Spirit on them to do that, and they're going to be destroyed. You know, just like in these, you know, invasion movies, you know, Esau and the heathen, they always team up. Okay, they always team up and fight the so-called invaders. Well, Yahushua is coming to take the kingdom, man. The kingdom is going to be manifest on earth. Heaven will be on earth. Because this is not our world. This is the world of the Edomites. This is their kingdom. Their kingdom is going to be stepped upon, destroyed, and it will be forgotten. And the righteous kingdom will be established. Okay, so that third war is coming quickly, man. Just wanted to, you know, touch on that. Don't be in a sleepy state. Okay, these things are coming to pass. It may seem slow, but it's moving swiftly. Okay, by year 2030, by 2030s, you know, we can be out of here, man. Before that, you know, 2030s right there. We could be out of here by 2030, man, or late 2030s. You know, things can be at a certain stage, 2029, where, you know, we can clearly see that look. It's only a matter of time. So it's not far fetched to even think about 2029, the way how this devil is moving. But I'm gonna leave it there. As always, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Shai, Bahasham, Rakahakodash. Shalom to the elect.